Hello and welcome to the ERwin Data Modeler R8 diagramming overview. My name is Anshul Chandra. I'm one of the product managers with the ERwin modeling tools. In today's presentation, I will show you some of the new diagramming capabilities that have been introduced with the R8 release of ERwin Data Modeler. Some of the topics that we will discuss today. Themes is a new concept that has been introduced in the R8 release. A theme can be considered as a collection of font and color settings for the various diagramming objects in a model. A theme can be applied at various levels of modeling hierarchy. You can apply a theme at a model level or at a subject area level on a particular diagram for modeling objects as well as for each individual drawing object. On this slide you can see the theme editor dialog. On the defaults tab you can specify font and fill options that would be applied to all the objects. Themes are quite useful in supporting organizational design standards, as well as they can be used to denote the development life cycle of a model. Themes can be further used to customize the diagrams in the model for various end users like the sales and marketing groups. And appropriate design standards, fonts and color standards can be created. The theme settings can be mentioned for various drawing objects in a model. On this slide you can see the entity and the attribute tab. For an entity, various options like the font, fill or the outline can be specified. For the attributes, we can specify options like font inheritance type, color inheritance type or the foreign key attribute fonts and colors. Themes, when used appropriately, is a powerful concept introduced in the R8 release. With the R8 release, we no longer have the stored displays. Instead, we have what we call diagrams. A diagram can be created either at the model level or at the subject area level. And there is no restriction in the number of diagrams that can be created. Some of the properties which can be specified for an entity within the diagram editor can be seen on this slide. Some new properties like show attributes and columns as grid have been introduced in R8. As a result of the show attributes and columns as a grid property being turned on, we can see on the right side the effect on a particular entity in the diagram. It makes the entities a lot cleaner and visually appealing. As mentioned earlier, that themes can be applied at the diagram level also. The members of a diagram can be inherited directly from the concerned subject area. When inheriting all the modeling objects from our owner subject area, we can simply turn on the automatically populate from subject area option as seen on the slide. And all the available modeling objects will be included in the particular diagram and displayed in the included objects list. If we want to select individual objects one at a time, we can turn off the automatically populate option and select those particular entities which we want to be included in this particular diagram and move them to the right side in the included objects list. Under the layouts tab in the diagram editor, we have introduced something called visual cues which help in the better arrangement of the diagramming objects. We now have the ability to show page grid. We can show or hide the background. A new property called show callout has been introduced which helps in identifying a relationship label by creating a dotted line between the label and the relationship line itself when the label is moved around, as can be seen on the screen. The selection grips color further enhances our ability to identify the particular modeling objects being focused upon right now. With the R8 release, we have introduced a lot more options around the fill style, the gradient style, and also the pattern styles. Now you have the ability to specify the fill style as either solid, pattern, bitmap, or gradient. A gradient style can be either linear, center, cross, or shape, and lots of options are available as far as the pattern style is concerned. Another functionality which has been requested by a lot of our customers has been the ability to auto layout the diagramming objects. With the R8 release, we have provided 5 inbuilt auto layout functions which you can use to lay out all the drawing objects in a particular diagram. As can be seen on the screen, we have the circular layout, the hierarchical layout, orthogonal layout, symmetric layout, tree layout. You also have the ability to selectively lay out a group of entities and relationships on the diagram using one of the inbuilt layouts. On this slide, I have selected entities on the left half of the diagram and I will apply the circular layout on them. As seen here, only those entities and relationships which were selected are laid out again using the circular layout, and the rest of the entities are not touched at all. With the R8 release, we have also introduced a new window called the Overview window. The Overview window captures a larger diagramming area. This functionality is especially useful if your model is really large and contains a lot of entities. You have the ability to move around over the complete diagramming area by just moving the small blue rectangle in the Overview window. You also have the ability to zoom in and zoom out by changing the size of this blue rectangle. The Overview window provides flexibility in moving to different portions of the diagram. The concept of main subject area, as we have known in the earlier releases of ERwin Data Modeler, has been changed with the R8 release. Main subject area, which used to be a cluttered dump of all the modeling objects available in the model, was not quite useful to most of our users, and it consumed a lot of resources when opening the model in ERwin Data Modeler, as well as it increased the size of the model unnecessarily. The main subject area is no longer any different than any other subject area in the model. When a version 7 model will be upgraded as an R8 model, ERwin will ask whether you want to keep the main subject area and whether you want to keep the diagrams within that main subject area. But we can still create a subject area which contains all the modeling objects, and it will have the look and feel similar to the main subject area. If you look at the subject area editor, under the members tab, you will find a list of all the available objects within the model, and you have the ability to select the objects that you want to keep in this particular subject area and move them over to the included objects list. If you want your subject area to act as a main subject area, all you need to do is select the automatically populate with all model objects, and all the available objects in the model will be moved into the included objects list and will become part of the subject area, which in a way replicates what we used to call the main subject area. With this approach, we have been able to improve the performance and also reduce the model size. This is a small but a very useful change that we have introduced in ERwin R8. As against the earlier versions where you were able to create not more than 2 bend points in the orthogonal relationship line, now you will be able to introduce as many bend points as you want, as seen on the slide. Just a small example to show that a lot more flexibility is there with the diagramming objects. I do hope this presentation was useful for you. Thank you.